Welcome to today's episode of Zone to Speak. This is Juliana, and I'm here with my VFF and co-host Debbie.
Hi, everyone.
We have a very special guest with us today, Ryan Le Garrec. Ryan is an acclaimed filmmaker and photographer and cyclist. His unique ability to capture the raw emotion and essence of the sport has earned him recognition and admiration within the cycling community, myself included, from documenting epic rides and epic riders to exploring the intersection of adventure and storytelling. Ryan's work and personality are truly inspiring. We are thrilled to have him on the show today to share his journey and insights. Welcome, Ryan.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. That's great, the intro. You got me blushing.
Well, I even forgot to add rider because I think actually that's how I first heard of you. I was going to race the migration race, and I was just researching, and I came across an article that you wrote, and that was from laughters to almost tears. You know, it was super deep. And when I raced, I could only hear all your writing because it was to perfection, you know, the feeling, the raw emotion. But anyways, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into filmmaking and how that merged into cycling.
Wow, that's a long story. I'm going to try to keep it short. I come from a TV family. My mom was a news producer. And my dad was a war reporter for French TV. My uncle was a news anchor. My cousins are journalists. So everyone is going around doing TV stuff, mostly news. And I don't think I ever wanted really to follow this trend in the family. I was more interested in fiction. And then eventually I did what everybody did in my family, which is like start with cinema studies and end up like working in a more in a faster way. Like my dad would say, like he started in cinema and he was getting bored. It was too slow for him. And I quickly understood that it would be really slow for me too, and that I was not really somebody to wait. Just hold on sets and wait for the next shot for like 2 hours. So I moved to photography when I was like really, really young. I was really, really bad at it, and I knew that. So I worked quite hard, and then I gave up photography because I thought I would never manage to do anything. It was film at the time, and I was working with like a hard camera. But anyways, I was always into video, images, storytelling. And, I did what you're supposed to do, or I tried. I did a cinema high school in Paris. Then I did cinema university in Paris. Then I did cinema school in Belgium. It didn't work out at all. So, needless to say that with like classical teachers, it didn't work out great for me. But I had an editing teacher who was nice and who told me like, look, I think you should stop school. That's not gonna work out for you. You should get out of here. You should like work with artists and find another way. And I remember he mentioned like, if you really want to do school, you gotta go to Scandinavia. That's where it's happening for people like you. My girlfriend's school, which was a contemporary dance school, so way more arty, way more conceptual, way more open-minded, and they had a craving for anything video photography, to do whatever I wanted or whatever they wanted, and it was really fun. And for the story, like a year later, I ended up in Sweden working for a contemporary company in Scandinavia, like my dear editing teacher told me to. except I didn't go for school. And that's it. Like I never graduated from film school. I never graduated from film university. I graduated from high school. Thank God I've got this. But I started working and I really enjoyed myself in the contemporary dance. And then I thought that was gonna like be it, I was really happy with it. It's a really tight world where like everybody knows everyone and everybody travels around the world on tours for companies and everybody like sort of like lives with everyone and hangs out, and it was like a super creative world. But I met like a singer-songwriter after a concert in Stockholm, and he took me on tour. He was looking for a filmmaker, and I happened to be at the right place, which was the bar. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this. And so I went on tour. I had a wild card to make a documentary. But it turned out that I think after 4 years of touring, the band split. And so it was a massive drama. Unfortunately, I made the film exactly about that, how the industry with the pressure of success and compromising can like break a band and break people. And obviously, the label was Warner was supposed to release the film, but they were the big bad wolf in the film, so they didn't really like it. Of course. And they asked me to change it, and I couldn't change it. So I said, change it. And I never did. It cost me like maybe 6 years of my life. And then after that, I had a bit of a breakdown. I didn't want to make films anymore. I didn't want to work in this world anymore. And I was working in restaurants. Anyways, just doing TV, and he's like, would you like to do TV? And I'm like, no, like hell, I would not want to do TV. That's exactly what I never want to do. And then he was like, how about you get a wild card and you're making portraits about like people that you find interesting in the city. And you get to do that every week for sure. And eventually he put me in co-producing the show and then directing it, and then like, working on like meeting people from rock stars to Nobel Prize writers to refugees to chef, taxi drivers, therapists, butchers, you name it. Like we had it, so it was a great experience in TV. And how it came to cycling is an awful accident.
Of course,
I made something about bike messengers, and I fell in love with them. I fell in love with what they were doing. And
it is fascinating.
Truly.
I ended up being part of the messenger crew, working for them half time while working on the TV. And that was the beginning of this adventure in cycling.
Had you ever cycled before that?
I just had gotten a bike. What happened is I got a bike for my girlfriend as a gift, and it turned out that she loved the bike and she loved going everywhere with the bike, and I was still using public transport. But every time I met her, she was so happy and I was so stressed and
miserable, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And I realized like maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I should buy myself one. So actually for my birthday, I got myself a bike. And
what a great present, right?
I made myself happy. I had like a bike, and then I just found the pleasure of that. And yeah, one thing to another. Then I got a fixie bike, and then I was like going around, and I knew about messengers, but I was not really cycling. Turned out that like the company was like willing to give me a chance because they saw something. And it's to this day the best job I ever had.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's where everything develops too. When you find your footing in something that you feel passionate about, that just moves you.
Yeah, probably that professor in Belgium, saw something in you because you definitely don't fit the mold. And I think that's why you stand out. For me, one of the things also that I really enjoy, and it's so funny, maybe shouldn't be, but it is, there's so much humor. It's your fail series on Instagram where you're documenting everything that goes wrong on a ride or on a race. It's so authentic, and I don't think you planned. I think it's just something that evolved. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it started as a request from Live, Love, Ride. They had this
No,
thing
no.
with filmmakers making short videos about the place they ride. And the pitch was like, we love where we ride, so let's act accordingly, as in, like, let's be, mindful of the ecology and how great it is that we can use the outdoors, but let's do it responsibly. Anyway, I didn't fit the bill. Well, I thought I didn't fit the bill because the thing was like made like drones and stuff, and every filmmaker before me had made like really beautiful work of drones. But Lieven van Balen, who was in charge of it, she pushed me a little bit, and then it was COVID. I didn't have any ways to film. I didn't have anything to do, so I just started filming my own rides, and I was just discovering Portugal. I was really inspired. Old people, barking dogs, beautiful gravel roads, and I just did it. And then what happened is that, like, I had lots of feedback from it from friends who are not into cycling at all and who really enjoyed that little thing, and it kind of like made me feel like, okay, maybe I can do more. So I was completely ridiculous for that.
Yeah, I think you tapped into something there.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, there were a few challenges I could do around that were not, it wasn't blocked by COVID. And I had this thing which I have a company that stipulates that I'm a cyclist, so I'm a professional cyclist in my company. Before even being a writer or filmmaker or photographer working cycling, I am a cyclist. So my accountant reminded me that I was actually allowed to go out when nobody was, because it was part of my job description. So I was like, he was like, there is you and João Almeida who can go out in Portugal and ride their bikes right now. So enjoying my friend. And I was like, wow,
that's amazing. He's sweating his ass off right now on that tour.
Yeah. So I didn't ride with Joao. We never met, but yes, I could ride. And then I was like, well, I have nothing to film, so I was actually craving filming. And I started filming my own rides. And then, sponsors came in. And then the idea of the film came that my idea was like, let's show to brands and people the average Joe cyclist who's going on things, but that he still can go. He might fail, but he might have a fun time too doing that. And then let's give that a chance. And then it happened that, like, sponsors came in, Albion came in, Teofim came in pretty fast, Richie was in from the start, and there were other little ones, and then Brooks, and everybody was like, okay, let us help you do that. And it was a series for the Radavist, for the website, and then I made it mine after a while. And it's tough because I'm really not comfortable with the selfie, which I think comes across in the video in general, and I think it makes it even funnier because I'm really not enjoying myself.
I know the feeling completely.
Do most filmmakers not like to be filmed? Is that something?
Yeah,
or is that just personally?
Yes, yeah. I guess we chose the back of the camera for a reason. Like, I was acting.
Right. You like to be the one capturing something.
Yeah, I'd rather film other people in misery than myself.
Who wouldn't? Yeah. So I really love, though, that you captured that series, even if it was by means of COVID happening, that it kind of accidentally came into fruition. It's a beautiful series, and you catch everything in the lens of a layman walking out, deciding to go on an adventure and seeing what happens. And it resonates. I loved it. So.
Oh, thank you. That was really the pitch. The average Joe, instead of riding his Sunday ride, goes on 1,000-kilometer race in Kenya or whatever, and then what happened? Like what's gonna happen, and should he be afraid of that? And should he be afraid? But because I felt like, oh man, like we live in a society where everybody's gonna succeed. It's like we forget that, like, succeed, you gotta fail quite a lot. You don't learn,
and they're afraid to fail.
Yeah, you don't learn from your successes. You learn from your failures. And
the most.
Yeah, and I was like, you can break your nose a few times on those races. Eventually, you're going to break your nose every time, but you might get a kick out of it. And then it's sort of like it sort of was the whole initial idea for me when I started working in adventure ultra distance cycling. It was after doing my first ever race, which was a transcontinental race. I had done a few pictures, not at all thinking in professional terms. I did it with my phone, but it's just a second nature. So you're like, you see a landscape or you see a
From the
person.
heart.
Right.
And you're like, I need to get that shot. And
Of course.
you wouldn't be able not to do. And so I did that. And then Restrat wrote to me and they were like, hey, we want to publish your pictures. And I was like, okay, how much? And they were like, I want a nugget of patch. And I was like, that's great. Fine. Let's do it. And they say, can you write like 300 words? And I said, how much? And they say, a mug and a patch. And I remember as I was doing it and I was sharing my story, which was essentially scratching from the transcontinental race halfway. And it was like a whole article with like a list of 56 rookie mistakes on an ultra distance race. I remember thinking, well, that's my new thing. That's my dream. Like that is like something I would love to do as a job. Like go on adventures, fail miserably or whatever, don't fail, whatever, it doesn't matter. But just bring back the story and share it. And maybe it will inspire somebody to push themselves out of their comfort zone. And I had let that aside because I was working on filming other people, filming long distance races, making articles about it, and trying to like break into this niche which I had no place in at the start. And the fail came to me, and when it happened, after a few, I think after the third episode, I realized like, wow, this is actually working. This is actually becoming sort of a job. And it's exactly the dream I had. So then I put a bit more pressure on it, and I got maybe a bit over, stressed by it or too conscious about it. But that was my dream to start with. And
well, you manifested because now you're. I think you are very far away from the average Joe. When you talk about transcontinental, if anyone listening don't, you should know what that is. It's a race across Europe. There are a few checkpoints you have to go through, but you have to create your own route. I think it changes every year a little bit. I don't know, Ryan, keep me honest here, but I think it's about 4,000 kilometers and you have 12 or 15 days to finish. Wow. So it's definitely not for the average Joe. You work with a lot of like strong riders, and obviously you're a great cyclist. No, I was just talking about how you're definitely not an average Joe cyclist. It just bogs my mind. Like, how do you keep up on that pace, that strong pace, and still captures everything? Keeps up with it.
Because you might be suffering at the moment yourself, and you don't want to miss capturing what's going on.
With Josh, we filmed together in Morocco, and we were climbing together, and I think he was pretending that he was breathing. I think he could have been smoking on the hill with me. It was only the next day when we were like going downhill, I had to brake and wait for him. And I was like, can you please go faster?
That's funny that you say that. I was wondering about that when there was a video of one of the guys that you were filming, and you could hear him when he was climbing. And I was wondering how he's filming that, because he's got to be in a car or something, because it's too smooth. You don't hear anything else rocking on the pavement or any other breathing.
But like, it depends which video. Sometimes I'm on a bike. Sometimes I'm on an e-bike. The e-bike is great if you're going uphill. It makes a very tiny noise. It's awful on the flat because like it doesn't go fast enough on the flat, and then downhill it depends. But like the film I made in France with Thomas Brouy on the GTMC, which is called Momentum, a lot of the filming was from the e-bike, and that's how I could like keep up with him. It was only the hiker bike sections were really hard, because then I was on an e-bike and then I had to push the e-bike, and it was like, I don't know how many kilos. That was ridiculous. And I
a little
still
heavier.
had to film at the same time. So a few times, like, I wanted to ditch the bike up a cliff and just like run or something. But it depends. But most of the time I'm lucky enough to be sitting in a car on an e-bike or we're going downhill, and then I can catch
that
myself.
explains. Is there you would like to work with, someone that you haven't worked yet that you would like to work, or any event that you like to film and be part of it? Because you've done a lot, so.
Well, not so much, not enough. But writers, I don't know, because they come out when I meet them, you know. And like, for instance, the last writer I've worked with, it's for an article. There's a little film that comes with it, but the film is only a complement. It only exists if it's related to the article. The film itself alone is way too silent, way too discreet, and not telling the story straightforward. So it comes with the article, and that writer is Marin de Saint-Exupéry. And I really loved meeting Marin. I really enjoyed spending time with him in Morocco. And like,
wow,
I think this is the thing. Like, you meet people and you fall in love, and that's always been the way I approach filmmaking. It's a love story every time. You know, whether it's the cab driver, whether it's Burning Spears, or Amos Oz, the writer, or Idris, a refugee, or, you know, it's like, it's a love story, and you fall in love with them and you want to show them to the world. If I'm working with anyone, they would probably be bike messengers. There's a lot in bikepacking, and there's this kind of like family between us. We all connected in one way or another, exactly like contemporary dance. We're connected. If we go to a town and we don't know anyone, we just jump on the bike and find the bike messengers, and we say, I'm a bike messenger from this town, and they go like, hey, come on, have some beers. Come to this spot. Where are you crashing tonight? Let us fix you. And so
it's like a nomadic lifestyle in a way, but
it's like
great.
everyone is a hobo, and everybody helps each other because there's no other way. And it was exactly the same in contemporary dance. Every contemporary dancer was like, are you in Stockholm? Oh, are you in London? Come at my place. Oh, we've got a party tonight, so you would never be alone. And I love that. I love the community feel. And I think bikepacking has a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of connections and people helping out, and a sense of community. And then
that
for the events, I'd love to work on the Tour de France. Actually, I would. That is an event I'd love to cover.
I would love to see your take on that.
Yeah, I would love that.
I'd love to be outside of it.
You need to go and do that by yourself.
I think the stories outside of it, the people like sleeping 3 days in their camping car at Duet, the drunk Dutch corner, the locals. And then I'd love to see it from the inside, like the tension, the focus, the constant pressure. That's something. I've been, you know, like I was actually saying it to Rouleur. So I worked with Rouleur since quite a short time. It was my dream was to work for Rouleur in terms of magazines, and now I'm begging them to send me on the Tour de France to do something different. So
I love how you say Rouleur. I always say Rouleur, but Rouleur is so much better.
I won't even attempt it.
I really hope they listen to you and send you there, because
we're manifesting it out in the world.
You would be amazing content. Yeah.
I'd love that.
Wonderful. I don't know if there's anything else, Debbie, you want to ask Orion to share. I know, Orion, you have a game to catch tonight. So do I. Portugal is playing. I think Germany is playing. So it's going to be a busy football night. Not cycling.
If there's anything else you want to share about any upcoming projects or anything you want to promote at all or put out there, we'd love to hear about that too. Or where our listeners can follow you. See more of your work.
Yeah, well, I think the best way is to start with Instagram, and usually it's all connected inside there, and it's my name, Ryan _Le _Garrec, GARREC.
I'll put on our description on the episode.
There's a new film coming out at some point. I don't know exactly when. It will be this time on probably on bikepacking.com. And I hope people will like it. I'm finally a little bit more comfortable with it. and I really enjoyed it. It was on the Desertus Cyclist race, and I thought it was a beautiful event. That's also an event I'd love to do again.
Oh,
That was in Morocco, right?
No. This was from the south of France, crossing Spain and finishing in Setúbal, so not far away from where I live in
Wow,
Porto.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful event,
I can't wait to see
absolutely
that
not
then.
competitive, and really nice.
Yeah, now that I'm here in Spain, I want to explore starting next year. I'm going to biking in Brazil, but then after that, I really just want to explore all the races that, all the bike packing we have in Europe, because there's a lot of endless stuff to do here.
Yeah, Spain is the
Cool.
place.
So we're going to be on lookout about the movie film. I hope we get to see each other riding in one of these events soon.
You'll wait for me up the hill.
I was just going to say, he's going to be the slow one, right?
Me. I'm just on adventure mode now.
I'll be on the e-bike.
Okay, we got a plan.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, definitely.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Au revoir.